limit is t goes to -2 of t plus 2 over 2 minus the square root of t plus 6. The first thing we're going to do is plug in -2 in for each of the t values. In the numerator, that will be -2 plus 2. In the denominator, that will be 2 minus the square root of -2 plus 6. In the denominator, the square root will be of -2 plus 6, which is a 4. So we will have -2 plus 2 divided by 2 minus the square root of 4, which is a 2. The numerator will be -2 plus 2, which is a 0. The denominator will be 2 minus 2, which is also a 0. We have the 0 over 0 indeterminate form. We will need to rework this. Since we have a root combination, a root involving t in some way, added or subtracted together with at least one more term. We have that going on right here in the denominator. We're going to be able to do the root conjugate method. So I'm going to rewrite this limit exactly as we see it. Limit is t goes to -2 of t plus 2 over 2 minus the square root of t plus 6. I'm going to multiply that root combination by its conjugate. The conjugate is the same two terms with opposite sign between them. But I'm going to put one here in the numerator as well, so that we have a form of 1. And therefore, when we multiply, we're not changing the value, just the look. This will become limit as t goes to -2 of, in the numerator, we are not going to FOIL out, since those are not root conjugates of each other. We will leave those in their factored version. In the denominator, those are root conjugates. We will FOIL those out. First, 2 times 2, that's a 4. Outside, 2 times a positive square root of t plus 6 will be a positive 2 square root of t plus 6. Inside, negative square root of t plus 6 times 2 will be -2 square root of t plus 6. And then last, negative square root of t plus 6 times a positive square root of t plus 6 will be a negative t plus 6. Just be careful here to put the t plus 6 in parentheses. That negative will distribute on them. The outside and inside terms will always cancel, equal value, opposite sign. Our next step, we're going to distribute this negative into the t plus 6. The numerator we're going to leave the way it is. So we have limit as t goes to -2 of t plus 2 times 2 plus the square root of t plus 6 all over 4. Distributing the minus sign, we will have a -t and a -6. We can then combine the two numbers together in the denominator, still leaving the numerator the way it is for now. So t plus 2 and 2 plus the square root of t plus 6. In the denominator, if we combine the numbers 4 and -6, we'll have a -2 and minus a t. Now we have finished the root conjugate method here. We still have 0 over 0. That hasn't changed just yet. We have a 0 in the numerator because of that, and we have a 0 in the denominator because of that. -2 minus a -2 will actually be a 0. Now those don't cancel with each other just yet because they're opposite signs of each other. We need to factor a negative out of one of them. I'm going to factor a negative out of the one in the denominator just because it's less stuff down here. Let's factor that negative out. And we have limit as t goes to -2 of t plus 2 times 2 plus the square root of t plus 6. And in the denominator, factoring out the negative will give me opposite sign on each of those terms. I'll just write it in reverse order, so I will say t plus 2. And the t plus 2's can now cancel. Now those were what was making 0 over 0, so once we cancel them, we should no longer have the 0 over 0. In the denominator, we now have a -1. dividing by -1 is equivalent to multiplying by -1. So that -1 can move to the numerator. And we can write it as negative of the quantity of 2 plus the square root of t plus 6. We should no longer have 0 over 0, so we should be able to plug a -2 in for the t now. So we have the negative of 2 plus the square root of -2 plus 6, which is the negative of 2 plus the square root of 4. So that's going to be the negative of 2 plus the square root of 4 is a 2. 2 plus 2 is a 4. We therefore end up with -4.